we're going to cover the Prospect 1500's Dodgers Prospect Top 50 list. It just came out today, so let's go right to it. And let's see, we have their list right here. We're going to start from the top this time. They talk about some tiers that they have. So tiers not being like crying, but so tier 1, players with high expectations of both making the majors and playing at all-star level for a number of years. Tier 2, players with above average expectation of making the majors and being a solid contributor. Tier 3, players with an average expectation of making the majors and being a solid contributor. Tier 4, players who have the potential to make the majors, possible sleeper candidates for sustained MLB success. And 5, players of interest worth keeping an eye on who might make or have made the majors but provide minimal impact. All right, Tier 1 is one guy, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the $325 million pitcher that the Dodgers signed out of Japan. He's the man. He's highly regarded. Some lists are having him, as one of the top pitchers in baseball already, despite not having thrown a pitch in the major leagues. But it just shows how much, how well regarded he is. And knowing how the Dodgers think so well of him, I think more people go, oh, he must be the real deal. It's one of those things where you just gotta trust the Dodgers staff and development and all their coaches and people making decisions there. Tier 2, we have catcher Dalton Rushing, who would be the number 1 prospect. They have him as Tier 2, along with Andy Paez, who I'm going to do a deep dive on pretty soon. I'm a big believer in him. Josue De Paula, who this site has been talking highly of. And then they still have Diego Cartaya at number 5. Within Tier 3, they have Michael Busch. He has made the majors, just hasn't really proven much yet in the majors. We shall see if he's even with the Dodgers or if he actually gets a shot to play with the Dodgers. Gavin Stone, another guy, cup of coffee with the Dodgers, didn't fare well like he would have wanted. However, I do expect him to be back and to be contributing with the Dodgers. Nick Frasso, not debuted yet, but I expect him to debut pretty quick in 2024 and to be a contributor. Kyle Hurt had his 2 innings of glory, making the Padres look silly. He's definitely someone that we're all thinking really well of. Trey Sweeney, they have him really high. I don't have him that high yet. I haven't seen enough of him or read enough good things about him, considering he has spent the last 2 years in Double-A. I'm hoping for more from him. Some have said maybe he is a third baseman in the future, but we got him from the Yankees for the great Yorbit Vivas. And can't remember the other off the top of my head. Victor Gonzalez. Number 11, Landon Knack, who had a great year in 2023, and I expect him to definitely be a big part of the Dodgers' plans or someone else's plans. Another guy that we've talked about on this channel quite a bit, Yoendry Vargas. We talked about him last night. MLB Pipeline had a nice little write-up on him. So the shortstop, it sounds like he's going to have a really good chance of staying there. In a year or two, he will be Tier 1. River Ryan, number 13. I love to see this. Again, only been pitching for 2 years. He is making his mark. So yeah, he's on his way. Outside chance that he debuts with the Dodgers this year. So Tier 14, Thayron Lorenzo. I can't believe he's that low in terms of tiers. I would have him at least in the Tier 3. Same with Peyton Martin. Both guys shined heavily at Rancho. Thayron was 20 years old, catcher, led the California League in home runs. Peyton Martin was the best pitcher at Rancho for the short time he was there. They set him down to rest. Eduardo Quintero, another just fantastic talent. Gosh, they're just loaded. Maddox Bruns, who I hold in very high regard. I think the Dodgers do too. Jake Geloff, the future third baseman. Ronan Kopp, 6'7", fireball and left-hander. Kind of goes a little old school there. Kendall George, he was going to make us change our sight from 2080 to 2090 because of his 90 grade speed. Yainer Fernandez, definitely a friend of the show and one of the friends to all, one of the best guys in baseball. Catcher, second baseman, played a lot of second baseman last year. The underrated, undrafted 2021 free agent Austin Gauthier. Dodgers Daily has an article about him. Probably a video too. Go check them out. Austin is someone I met in 2022 in spring training. Hadn't heard of him, and now look what he's become. He made it all the way up to Double-A. Should see plenty of time at Triple-A. Samuel Munoz, a guy who's still acquiring his power, but he has a really good hit tool. Just think more of a Tony Gwynn-ish type hitter than a power hitter, but you never know. Jose Ramos, second year in a row not protected and not taken in the Rule 5 draft, but a ton of talent. Justin Robleski, a fantastic find they had in the draft in 2022 or 2021. He was drafted and then debuted in 2022 at Rancho and made a lot of progress last year. Had a real nice year. He's going to be even throwing more innings. Oh man, your friend Medina. I have not covered first baseman yet, so I haven't really talked about him. Jeremy Rosario, big arm, and showed a lot more control and command. Rain Doncon, I like him at third base. Probably slipped a little bit this last year, but I expect a lot more out of him. Chris Newell, a surprise, drafted in 2022, excellent athlete, got some speed, got plenty of power. Yoon Suk Chung, I think this is really low. I think he might be. Well, we'll see next. We'll see it this year. I'm very excited about him. Hopefully, we get to see him at Rancho. Moises Brito, they got him. I thought that was in the trade in which they got Nick Frasso with Toronto. So I think that's him. Yeah, that's him. Lefty, making progress. That's good to see. Alexander Albertus. Rookie infielder Peter Hubick, saw a lot of him at Rancho. I like his stuff. Carlos Duran coming off Tommy John. Brady Smith, 2023 draftee. I think Dodgers Daily has something on him. Oswaldo Osorio. I think we covered him briefly. Wilman Diaz, 2021 high international signee. Hoping he made progress this last year. He seemed to be very comfortable with himself and really doing well. And so I expect him to keep improving. It's contact. It's Jesus Tulero, Troy Tiero, I'm going to say. Only 17 years old. Just another one of those guys that's coming up and it's going to be outstanding. Jake Pilarski, Mr. 101, 102 miles an hour. Hunter Fiducia on the 40-man roster. Should debut this year sometime if there is any injury. Jesus Galiz, in my opinion, the best defensive catcher in the Dodgers organization. Made a ton of progress last year. I am shocked he is this slow. Jared Karros, son of Eric Fabio Karros. He's 6'7". He's a big kid. Had a really nice year. Got promoted into High A. Damon Keith, a guy who's I thought he'd get promoted to Double-A. Didn't quite make it. Maybe this year. Elias Medina, an infielder from Dominican Summer League. A lot of these guys from Dominican Summer League. Just remember that Dominican Summer League, both their teams were outstanding, with one of them like winning like 100 games and losing 2 or something like that. Arnaldo Lantigua, an outfielder. I haven't covered him yet. Lucas Wepf, a Canadian reliever. Really was tough. Really was good. He's kind of got some mechanics that are a little bit different. Hides the ball really well. I like what I see. Gerald Perez, he had a brief cup of coffee at Rancho for like a couple games, and that was it. And they sent him back down. Oh boy, here he is. Myroshendrick Martinez, infielder, outfielder. He's a good one. Ronaldo Yane, 102-mile-an-hour guy. Christian Romero, the most solid pitcher all year at Rancho. He was really good. I'm a big fan of his. He's just solid, and I expect him to definitely start the season in high A. So that is the Prospects 1500 Dodgers top prospects. Now, Prospects 1500, our friend Dodgers Gale works for them sometimes, and she's been working with him for some reason. She's not on this list as a writer, which is interesting. I figured she'd be right there, but also, so she's told me that Prospects 1500 means there's 1500 total prospects in Major League Baseball, and that's what that number means.